Yo, check it out. Want to know if the price of those wave runners is too good to be true? Or if I Wear My Kicks 49 is truly selling dead stocks? Or if that Jordan 1 Royal box is original? eBay checks. See that little blue check mark? Behind it is a team of independent authenticators who check. And we mean everything. Every tongue, check. Every toe box, check. Every corner of every box, check, 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 check. Every logo, every label, every lace loop. Yeah, it's checked. The luster of the leather, the topography on the tags, to the straightness of the stitching on the sole. Everything you can see, and even some things you can't.
Really?
Then they tag them, log them in the system, box them up, and ship them out, with no cost for the buyer or seller. eBay checks, so the moment you open that box is as real gets.
An impressive first map victory coming in from Mad Lions as they kind of changed the narrative. They went off script a little bit here, Dust, because this was a game that we thought was likely to start with a map 1 win here for G2, but it goes the other direction. And a large part of that was the performance coming in from not only Narrate, but also Trick, who stepped up big with this double duelist setup that Mad Lions had coming into this one. But Dust, this is absolutely a surprise to the start of the series.
Oh, absolutely, man. I mean, look at their conversion of post plants, the first kills. They had the one clutch that was up for grabs. Like you said, Trick was taking a bunch of space every round, it seemed like, early. But it was actually the controllers from Mad Lions who were like doing a lot of the cleaning up in the mid to late round situations as well. So give them props. Narrate did have one huge 4K, like clutch type thing. And then he popped off the pistol round in the second half as well. So we're going to give him credit for basically kind of taking 2 rounds by himself. But certainly, Mad Lions just looked like a well-oiled machine on the attacking side in general. Just never really let up.
To add to that, yeah, the controllers, like you said, Ainge had... it was exciting to see the different ideas that Mad Lions had, especially on attack, right? We don't get a whole lot of defense. But we had not only just your standard sight hold, setting up in your post-plant positions, but then as soon as we swapped, sites that Mad Lions were hitting, Ainge has these lineups, and then he plays perfectly behind these lineups, understanding kind of the spacing in the round when he's about to be the last person alive. He knows somebody's pushing him, he gets that kill on Shazam. Then he plays the time perfectly as the snake bites subside. Maybe there's time for G2 to defuse, but Ainge just takes the perfect timing on the fights. Make sure that G2 do not walk away with weapons, and yeah, Ainge had a really strong start, and then from there, the players that we mentioned, Trick obviously having a good game, but Narrate really started to step it up, and economy was a big issue for G2, and anytime that G2 tried to get out of a situation, Mad Lions found ways to punish them.
Well, it's important to note that that was the pick coming in from G2, which is not really all that surprising. We've seen them play split a dozen times. It feels like that's their territory up until more recently, where going back to the mid-season face-off and now today, they have suffered losses on it. But as we take a look at the map pool, that means we're moving into the pick coming in from Mad Lions. Now, it's important to put an asterisk on this because you really can't look at the map pool for Mad Lions and go, oh, that's a really good map. This team has struggled a lot. Like it's fair to say that this team has not had the greatest run here in Challengers. The only map with a positive win rate is Fracture, and that's just a 2-1. Even Pearl, which is their selection here, Tanner, is an 0-4 map. However, we've only seen G2 play this map twice. They played it to kick off the second week of Split 1. They played against Breakthrough, which they won. And then they got decimated by M80 in the mid-season face-off grand finals. So only 2 times. It means that they haven't really shown a proclivity for playing the map.
Yeah, I can't imagine that this is a map that G2 feels especially comfortable on. Meanwhile, although Mad Lions do have those 4 losses, you mentioned it, right? They've increasingly been getting better. And I think when we started Split, it's a bad map. We were expecting 13x for the other side. We're like 13-4, 13-2, something for G2, right? And domination is what we expect on Split. But with Mad Lions getting the pistol and then losing the bonus, but getting their first rifle and starting to piece rounds together, Trick really coming to form, I think the confidence was huge. So even if the playbook is limited for Mad Lions here on Pearl, same for G2, I think coming into map 2, they're going to be playing full confident here, which is scary when Narrate's going to be showing up on this map. Trick will be right back at it. Ainge is going to be a problem. This is a very scary spot against another map or another series where G2 looks very shaky.
This win, too, of the utmost importance here for Mad Lions, because we talked about how this team, they might already be too far gone. It might be too difficult for them to kind of find themselves into playoffs. But at the very least, they got to put that foot forward. You talk about this step up as they've 13-5 on Pearl, 13-6 on Pearl, 13-8 on Pearl, 13-10. They've progressively gotten better. Eventually, you're going to walk up those steps and you're going to reach that second floor, which would be a dub. And it would be an impressive time for them to do it here as G2 is potentially staring down the barrel of an 0-2. Now, that said, they don't look particularly stressed, although Whippy's pixels can be counted by hand. But Dustin, as we look at the team for G2, they seem to be somewhat comfortable. You don't see any of that anxiety that you might see from teams who are facing a similar situation.
Yeah, I mean, I think part of it is kind of understanding that they're already in such a great positioning in the overall standings that, like, some of these results are, what it is. And then I think it's also, realizing that, hey, we still believe that we're the better team here. And even though we took a, upset loss on one map, they caught us off guard. There's a lot of film of G2 on Split out there, whereas Mad Lions had not a lot. I expected this, actually, based on the fact that they had done this on Lotus by putting Pity on Harbor there. We've seen Harbor become more and more meta on this map, so this is actually not surprising at all for me from G2. It is a change-up in composition, but it's one that I expected. And then on the other side, again, kind of what we expected, I guess, from Mad Lions, just based on what we had seen in the past. They did try Harbor once, but this is the more typical, kind of thing. Other than they also took the fade out as well, going with Sova instead.
Yeah, Sova really been making kind of I don't want to say a resurgence. I don't feel like Sova was flirted with too much at the start. Fade always seemed to be kind of the go-to. A lot of nooks and crannies to worry about, much like you see on Split and why Sova's not there, but I guess a little less so here on Pearl. So yeah, Blackheart going to be rocking that one. Trick now on the KO, and I think all eyes now on Narrate as spotlight on that solo duelist for him, starting on the attacking side. We'll see how much space he can garner. Meanwhile, lots to stall with, lots to slow things down for the defense of G2 Esports. And implications are there. Mad Lions a map ahead. This would be a huge victory. And although things for the rest of the season have to go terribly wrong for G2, you don't want to have a loss to Mad Lions on your record.
No. Especially, like, who they're going to have to play later on in this group to get... You feel like they need at least to get, like, 1 or 2 wins this split to, like, really lock in the playoffs. But, I mean, I'm sure they're going to have it no matter what, but you don't want to finish this way, is my point. As they're trying to play a little bit of a bait and switch here at Art with Oxy hiding behind the box. And there is a trap spawn, but equal trades. Mad Lions happy with that.
And not even necessarily ready for it, but responding to it. Our Mad Lions Whippy here to find the first on the next. 3 kills, make it 4. Trick just does not stop. From Raze to KO, from map 1 to map 2, this guy is making sure he drags his team across the finish line if he has to.
He's going to go for the plant here. Dapper alone. Ainge spotting it from long side, though. They get the early intel on where Dapper's coming from.
When that star down means nothing else for the post plant, right? There's no stun, there's no gravity well. It was this to make sure that Trick could get away, get out of this position, and the spike's not even planted for him. We'll see if Dapper looks to take this fight up this way, finds the tag. Trick down to 22 HP, and just gonna toy with him a little bit, not even getting halfway. Dapper, I think, was expected to get that one a bit further. Now let's go back to it. A full defuse is what it'll take, and Ainge knows just that. Gonna play with the time. Dapper just has none of it. The shots are there. Sure, give him the kill, but the round, it belongs to Mad Lions.
Yeah, just equal trades through Art against that bait and switch out that G2 were trying to play, and then Trick just takes it a step further, bottom the next to get that 2-on-1 post plant. And from there, it was kind of easy pickings. Dapper in a really tough spot. Can't really expect them to be able to do too much in that situation with where they were held up at in their post plant positioning.
One enemy remaining.
But like you said, Trick picking up where he left off momentum-wise when it comes to the fragging. 4 frags here in the pistol.
Yeah.
So they've won all 3 pistols played so far. And G2's usually like they're like a decent pistol team. I would say like they're like 60% or so success rate, but they've gotten none today so far.
Flash through mid, early high tide as well. This is good conditioning. The rest of the game, Flash on the outside though. Did that come over the top from Trick, and then Penny just kind of got lost in it all? I mean, a huge play there. Trick doing it himself and helping his team in this.
Yeah, they were actually just trying to leave and get back to B Link after their initial mid pressure, and he just gets caught on the way out. Meanwhile, Trick able to get the spike planted down at A. G2 gonna have to try to play a retake here. They do have one on the very long flank, but it looks like it's being spotted by Blackheart. So that should be taken care of. Everybody else able just to play A main. Narrate playing alone inside the site, but Trick is there for support.
The Sheriff kill there. Shazam can't find the next. Narrate. They have to be close to perfect to find that kill onto Shazam. Phantom here on the side as the backstab comes through. Dapper still able to do more damage. And they're set up nicely to try and stall them here. Keep them close to the site and make this one hurt again. Oh no, Oxy gonna go. Okay, hops off for a second. That turret doing too much damage. Oxy. Hey, we've already seen one ninja defuse. It was very possible that we saw it again. As damage mitigated there on the way out. Blackheart and Trick, the only players who will have to reinvest into this third round. But Madlines do it again. Pick up the first. They find the anti-eco. Now they look to secure the bonus.
All right, I got a question for you. That's nothing to do with what's going on. So, how does the turret survive the spike explosion? What is that thing made out of? You can kill it with bullets, though, but it survives the spike explosion?
I know that I'm a day late. It's made out of Beskar. I know I'm a day late. I know I'm a day late. Okay? It's made out of Beskar.
Oh, my goodness. Yeah. You could go Revenge of the 5th, because it was obviously May the 4th. But there's a more important kind of day going on today for American holidays, I guess, so kind of trumps it.
I love the green little lizard guy in The Mandalorian. He's been one of my favorite characters. But that's beside us here.
Is that
Rifles in the hand.
Little baby Yoda
Yeah,
thing?
the green little. Yeah, the little baby.
I stopped watching after the first season, so I'm out.
A lot of your information. They know Oxy's here, but they can't find the kill. Narrate falls. Trick follows. Oxy gonna right all the wrongs of that last map. Hove comes down. Whippy's just gonna hop on the defuse. Nobody even trying to spray this one through their hope. Oh my god, yes they do. Blackheart gets 2 as Penny goes aggressive here. The defuser killed. Blackheart eventually falls. The spike halfway, so plenty of time, but it gets scary once more, but it's the bonus for G2.
Yeah, retaking B is very difficult if Spike's planted well. It's just, especially if they can get safely at ramp position and just play that headshot angle, it can be so hard to break that back open defensively. It kind of requires you having a good flank coming through, which they did, right? Oxy gets the kills on that flank position, kind of dislodging that post-plant defense at long for a bit. And G2 ultimately overwhelmed with their superior firepower. That was the bonus for Madlines, of course.
It was a strong one, though.
Yes.
It had rifles in that. Oh,
Stuck.
what's the bird doing?
You hate it. Oof. Don't like that either. I mean, Oxy was just kind of stuck in no man's land there without that flash being available to help him peek with or, you know, be able to fall back into sight. Can't say I was a fan of that setup.
Was there not a weapon? I think Narrate was... Was a judge picked up there, or was there no weapon? Roxy, either way. The defense here on the B site, weakened. Oh, okay. I mean, that's the best time to have a judge there. He goes for the swap. Unfortunately, it's just missed time. So Whippy there for the trades on back. He goes for some more, but he runs into 2. Penny to try and pick up the pieces, knock down the rest of the pins that are the Mad Lions. Unfortunately, gutter ball there at the end.
Yeah, I wasn't a fan of the weapon swap that fast when you know there could be a follow-up, but all is forgiven because his teammates cleaned up the rest out on the site until they get the 3-1 lead. G2, they have the Bulldog for Whippy, but that's really about it other than Sheriffs. And, of course, the Blade Storm from Oxy will be able to come out as well. And they do have some pretty strong Sheriff players on this team, particularly Dapper is usually really well known for using it. I'm surprised that he's not one of the ones that has it.
Get out of my way!
But obviously prioritizing utility. Uh-oh, here comes Oxy.
And on the other side, it's Narrate. Knives, good for one, not good for the other. Ange Sits him down. Dapper, I mean, just put in the blender there as Shazam looks to take a walk out towards mid. Will land a headshot, but 1 of 45. A Sheriff moment. G2, I mean, they've lost the largest tool that they had, right? Those knives working its way on its flank. You're expecting a lot or hoping for a lot out of Oxy if you're going to get a round win here for G2. And unfortunately, that has since been dealt with. And now 5 more players to worry about. It doesn't get any easier.
Yeah, Mad Lion still has everyone available here. Sure, Bjor's on low health, but no problem regardless. Blackheart gonna drone out here just to provide that extra bit of intel.
One enemy remaining.
Very used to find one in the back halls, and Trick finds the follow-up. Kind of what we expected. But here comes the big round for G2. This is their big moment to try to strike back. They're going to be back onto a bye. They have a couple of massive ults available on the table for holds and retakes, whichever way they choose. I'm sure Whippy will drop the pit down and try to control something early.
Placing swarm grenade.
Take that lockdown for retake. But they also have an op-out. So G2 really needs to start cooking right now.
Yeah.
They need to get the ingredients out, put it on the table, start prepping the meat or veggies, you know, whichever one. They need to get grilling.
Viper's pit out towards mid, less than desirable to push that way. Art even more so. So that's 1 of 3 ultimates already expended. Lockdown available for Dapper, but so is the Hunter's Fury for Blackheart. So we have a nice little kind of do-si-do, the tango between the two, right? Who goes first?
What goes second?
Exactly.
I don't know on third.
I don't know is on third, exactly.
I
Well, now the lockdown
rest.
doesn't even matter.
Yeah, I forgot the rest. Wasn't somebody like in the outfield? I don't know.
Yeah, and you is somewhere as well, but
Pitching?
yep, it all gets confusing.
I thought you was the pitcher. I don't remember.
And all of this makes sense because there's a call out here on the A side called Dugout. Nobody there just yet. A player walking up from Secret, slowly trying to grab that position as Oxy finds a kill on the way back in, drops the operator. It's only a Bulldog here. Here comes the Hunter's Fury, though. Make its way into the Cove. Nobody home on top of that spike, but shots 2 and 3 to eventually come to fruition, but they need more behind. The gravity will pull Penny off. Now all G2 can hope for is kills on the way out. Economy always a problem here as Penny gets this one close. It'll come down to it, but a second and a half is what they're shy of as the clutch goes away of Mad Lion.
Yeah, man, that's tough. G2 are seemingly doing all the right things to bring this round back. Yeah, Narrate got that entry, but when they started pushing into A main, and the fact that Oxy gets to come to Ainge, I thought he was just going to swing around and grab that last player in the back, but instead, unable to do so, and he keeps putting the pressure on, and so Mad Lion's now up 5-1. And again, that was Viper's pit spent. That was a full buy. Now it's just pistols and a lockdown, the one Vandal on Oxy. I mean, they're going to have to gather up, just make a play and try to get somebody else weapons.
This is exactly how Split started as well. G2 only got the bonus round after that 4 rounds in a row for Mad Lions.
That's
Oxy wandering out towards mid. Yeah, finding that kill onto Ainge, making that one hurt and also finding himself a weapon.
They actually don't go pick up the weapon. Oxy had that Vandal from the start.
Oh.
So they didn't actually go back and reclaim it. Now they are, but look at it's too late. Like Shazam's going to grab that fallen weapon and his whole team went down in the process.
Resuming your termination.
I wish they would have waited, grabbed that weapon, and then kind of reformed together. I think that would...
Spike planted.
Yeah, I mean, especially when you have a huge tool in the lockdown that you want to use, you can't do it because of the suppression. The spike hadn't been planted yet. I definitely think there was time for G2 to take a bit more and get set up. Blackheart not ready for the peak there, so we'll see what this picked up weapon does eventually get 2 players around the corner. Trailblazer and another flash to play with here for Shazam. They line up, and he's able to get 1 through the robot, but Trick survives. 18 HP is what separates G2 from a win and a loss as Mad Lions now have a 5-round lead.
That was kind of close, though. That was a little sketchy.
Very
Shazam
close.
almost had a little bit of a lineup there and could have stolen one away. But Narrate, while he was slow to start on Split, he eventually came back and had a big game. He has been sprinting off the starting blocks this game. He has been doing wonders, and really everyone stepping up and doing what they need to. Trick continues to play very well this series also. Full buyback for G2. Lockdown still available. They also have Reckoning, so they have 2 really big retake tools here. With these ults, they need to put them to use.
Grounded.
Great kill from Oxy.
Yeah, very crispy. Okay, great. G2, find an early kill. Now they have to hang on to this round, right?
Yes.
Because how many times have we seen that and it not matter at all?
Shazam clearing through Art and into mid with the Trailblazer. So now they know no one's there. Don't really know about Long, though. They also don't know if they have fallen back potentially into a Long B hit, so they're going to have to respect that with a couple players in B lane.
Wow. Hey, speaking of respect, Oxy giving none of it to the utility of Mad Lions. This round belongs to Oxy. As Blackheart doesn't reveal his position inside the Reckoning just yet. Dead calm, though. As Oxy works his way through it. High tide. Separating Blackheart from, well, the firing squad, the spike, and the site. Flash down over the top. That will reveal. Dash on in. And Oxy, give this guy the ace. He wants it. And no, he's not going to get it. Blackheart will deny. Either way, the round still belongs to G2. They're finally back on the board.
Yeah, pretty dominant win there from G2. Great entry from Oxy at Art to take down Narrate at middle. Good information plays afterward there from Shazam with the Trailblazer, and then it comes down to dropping the Reckoning over towards A main, and Oxy playing off the back of it here, just lining him up and knocking him down. Like you said, almost found the ace there.
Placing swarm grenade.
Blackheart denies that, but can't deny G2 a victory as they do finally put a second round on the board. Oxy now has the Shorty Bladestorm combo coming into this one. Again, that lockdown still available for Dapper. There is now, though, a counter to it on the board. Hunter's Fury available for Blackheart, and they do have Cosmic Divine on Ainge.
And that's tough because Hunter Shuri was available previously. So it's been another cycle of Hunter Shuri before Dapper can even get anything out of that lockdown. We'll eventually use it. This is early, but I think the best part about it is Mad Lions, they won't need to expend the Hunter Shuri, right? This is just to try and thwart the hit from this B side, allow the defense to rotate over. But once it subsides, you still got a minute and 10 on the clock.
The thing, though, it has set up Oxy to get so much information on the opposite side of the map. Like, while the B hit is slowed down by the lockdown, Oxy gets to take so much space and allow his teammates to rotate all 4 of the remaining members onto side to defend here, and Narrate gets owned.
Yeah, completely in no man's land here. Hunter Fury, though, looking to make good on a few. No way, the util is all it takes here as Oxy on the back line, Shorty in the back pocket, and the knives go wide. A round that starts so good for G2 again falls apart. They crumble beneath the Mad Lions. They only find 1 kill as a 7 gets left on the board.
They had the perfect rotation, the perfect flank from Oxy. They got the opening frag onto Narrate. It just seems like everything was building up for G2, and then in the blink of an eye, the utility out of Bjor and Blackheart just turn that round upside down. What a wild ride this match has been. I'm kind of in awe, like how quickly that round turned on its head.
A nano swarm kill from downtown, right? And just, I think somebody maybe, I didn't see who the kill was on, but maybe just sticking around too long, hoping somebody would peek behind it. And then eventually just getting cooked, much like Narrate does this time around. Oxy doing it again, though, but it seems like the winning recipe is Oxy. If Oxy doesn't do it, it doesn't get done. So the rest of the team now needs to find ways to keep the 2 remaining of Mad Lions corralled here. Your maybe first to contact here. Dapper just on the other side. And the 1v1 will come to fruition. Damage traded back and forth, and it's Dapper to head for the hills.
Yeah, I like this from Dapper, though. He's playing very patient, very smart. He's just kind of holding info on this side of the map, allowing his other teammates to kind of gather up and start pushing together. Again, Dapper just playing very intelligently right now, just keeping tabs. But, oh, no.
Last player standing.
That's big. At least he got traded.
Yeah,
you feel like if Bjorn gets that second, it's a 2-on-2, and it's anyone's game at that point.
Anyone's game at that point. They already know they got damage onto Dapper as well. But greener pastures here for G2. Trick, the only one that stands for the attack. Emperor can expend a last bit of utility. Trick gonna look to go for the plant here. Will eventually get spammed down with 63 HP. He lives to fight the rest of this round. 2 players work their way through a link. The first one's down. The second one almost the third. But again, if Foxy don't do it, it don't get done. And G2 find another.
Oh my, there was 2 different ways Mad Lions could have stolen that round back. We saw that one B-Link interaction where there was almost a double from Vior that could have brought it to a 2v2, and then right here, Trick nearly finds the clutch. And a 1 versus 3 with Spike down these first 2 frags. At least Oxy was quick to follow up to not allow Trick time to kind of settle back into the moment. And so finally G2 are putting a couple of rounds here on the board, but they're coming split up. They're not stringing them together. And so Mad Lions are still putting together a pretty big attacking half when it's all said and done. Just a couple of rounds left to play.
Take flight.
Dapper's got the information once more. See what the response is. Last time we saw this, right? Dapper with information, lockdown to stall the hit, allow for the defense to rotate over, and G2 just, they aren't even taking any chances, right? They're just starting to work their way this way. If they rotate back to A shore, we'll play the retake over there. However, on this B site, we want to try and fight for this space. It gets a little bit harder, though. Lockdown from Pure will force everybody back.
Yeah, lockdown to force them back. Cosmic Divide to allow safe passage into back hall's control, as well as to set up the spike plant behind the double stack. And if they can get off this safely and just defend from long B, it's going to be so hard for G2 to retake.
Narrate beats the Trailblazer, finds the kill. Dapper gonna dance around the wall. Nobody better than playing around utility than this guy. He eventually survives long enough to allow Oxy to start to reign supreme. He's answered back almost immediately as the high tide comes out. It gets harder to spam this spike here when you just can't see it. So the pings come through. The Cove is up, but they come off for just a moment. Penny now to hop back on once more. Going aggressive is Shazam. They need to try and spray him down. The diffuser killed. And now it's all up to Dapper to try and hang on. Trick on the other side, and he's good for it once more.
Again, it's just so hard to retake this B site when players get safely to that ramp position in the post plant, unless you have a great flank pop off, or you really just maximize your utility and aim to grab a couple of quick headshots. It's just so tough. That's one of the key staples of this map. That, I mean, I would argue B on this map is one of the hardest sites to retake in the whole game.
Bot coming back.
But again, props to Mad Lions. They have never let G2 really feel comfortable this half. Yeah, they fit a couple of rounds in here and there, but they've never been able to string them together. And now look at this final round of the half. G2 scraping the bottom of the barrel, and it's not a lot. It's not a lot, man.
It's Oxy with the Vandal, though.
Yeah.
So we know at the very least anything is possible here. Good timing. They're playing off of that turret contact, but G2 aren't getting aggressive enough out towards mid. So Trick will hold the flash in hand, and it seems it's all it will be for now.
Yeah, it's like they want to try to late mid lurk here while putting this pressure on B. They had the spike carrier here as well, and now Trick does come out. Oxy gets caught out in the middle. Dapper tries to play the bait off of it, but fails. And that's a big kill from Trick.
And they just want to kill the robot. They're sending so much out that way just to secure that kill in response. Penny does so successfully. Sure, the odds are even. Shazam playing the jump peek. Lots of few players out towards B long, and this is where Mad Lions have liked to call home. This has been their den. That Stinger gonna find some damage, but now out of ammo. Narrate on the backside. We'll find the backstab. The headshots are there. Now it's all up to Dapper. He tried to help out towards mid earlier, but was disconnected from the play. Now he'll have to do it all on his lonesome. Through the cloudburst, he will go. Narrate just on the other side of it. Backs away momentarily. Ainge also a nuisance with util, cloudburst, bullets being sent this way. The tallest of tasks, the high-low is there. Player crouched, and that's Narrate to find the kill to close out the half. 9-3 here on Pearl.
I want to make one quick note that look at the discipline in that 3 versus 1 from Mad Lions. They were not about to give this man a chance in a 1v1. They never overcommitted to a fight. They jiggled, sprayed, got back in the safety back halls, deployed the utility of their Astra, and just, again, they played together. They played cohesive. And in that particular instance, you really saw some good discipline as a squad. So we've really seen just good team play through and through for Mad Lions in this series. That has been the big turning point for this team and why they have been more successful. Yeah, sure, They've had people making big plays. Narrate's had a hell of a series. Trix had a hell of a series on a duelist and now an initiator.
Yeah.
But it really has, I think, been down to their team play is just outclassing G2's.
Yeah, watching maps of G2, not that being gimmicky was kind of the only thing that was working, but I feel like they caught a lot of teams off guard, doing things that you wouldn't expect. Dapper mostly. If Dapper was like a cat in a box, right? If there's a box, a cat is going to sit in it. If there's a smoke, Dapper's going to be in it. That's just what it is. I feel like Mad Lions have just had such a good read to not be caught off guard by any of the tricks that G2 usually find value out of. This time, though, no tricks. Oxy just straight into the back lines. Penny able to get that spike planted. Cove expended. High Tide to slow the defense down.
And this is
I mean,
done.
it is a full-fledged
It's
post
done.
plant.
It's done. It's done.
Wrap it up, boys. Break it down. Go to the next round.
You just simply don't retake against this type of setup, especially when you're down a man.
Oxy was spotted. Look at the health, though. Already so incredibly low for the players working their way on. And Oxy is doing enough, just buying time. He's also buying kills. 5 HP. This guy's a demon. He reloads. Will eventually be dealt with. And now we get to the utility, right? Oxy got to keep the credits high for the team for a moment longer. G2 will do it. They get that spike planted, and that surely is an issue here on their attacking side.
G2 wins their first pistol of the series. Do so in convincing fashion, again, maximizing their utility on the long B take. Great fragging from Oxy in the back halls area. He's certainly been popping off this map, and a map where G2 haven't had much to grasp onto. Oxy certainly has given them some hope. Just the way he's been playing, if he can keep this up on the attacking side, could be a way to drive them back into the game. Again, they have I like this double, controller composition with the Harbor. I think it provides a lot of options on the attacking side, so I would expect G2 to make at least a little bit of a roar here, make a little bit of a comeback, but how far they push it's going to be entirely up to how they can play consistently across the half.
It's already set some pretty good expectations of, G2 wanting to just slam this B site with the Cove, get the spike planted, play post plant. Mad Lions expecting that already here in round 2, saying, hey, let's stack this one up, make sure they don't get this one for free. This might pay off if they can remain patient, as finally they're grabbing that A orb. G2 start to work their way out towards this B site.
Yeah, Blackheart just playing double stack position, a couple players towards back halls. Obviously not much firepower to work with here, just trying to gamble a little bit, I guess you could say, just hope that they can try to cook up some frags. But Oxy finds that entry on the trick, and he finds another through the smoke onto Ainge. Whittled him down to 25 HP. They still can't stop him. Now he's being healed.
30 seconds left.
Yeah, and the pistols are just not enough. Narrate never actually getting anything done here. Shorty in the back lines. Blackheart eventually dealt with there. Shazam will find a backstab momentarily.
Flawless.
Now, walking alt orbs are the rest of Mad Lions. A flawless round here for G2. A Blade Storm available for Oxy going into round 3, and things are starting to look up.
They still haven't been up against a full buy yet from their opposition, so still that test must be passed, but the building blocks are starting to come together of a comeback here for G2 on Pearl. Again, this is a map that Mad Lions came in 0-4, but G2 didn't really have much of a resume to speak of on this map either, to be fair. They've already been upset on their home turf on Split, and Mad Lions had a hot start here on Pearl, so it's really hard to read where this is headed, just based on what we've seen so far today. As we are going to see, once again, G2 using that Harbor utility to kind of deny some intel, but that intel still gathered there. 0 Point finds 4 players.
And Mad Lions quick to take that space out towards A as well, right? Ainge's going to have heaps of info. And nobody's headed this way just yet. Trailblazer dealt with it. Will back narrate off the site for now. Seekers suspended to try and sniff out the defenders. Bucky and hand up close and personal. Oxy, no dash to play with now. That High Tide's going to be going down here momentarily. Needs to be careful as Narrate comes around the corner. Shotgun gets it done. Knives behind it. 2 players already erased here. Mad Lions. Trick looks to bide his time. Inside the link, Oxy goes, but and his job has already been done. 2 kills for 1 traded thus far.
It's done. you simply cannot retake against this many members having safe long B holds at ramp. Like, especially with the utility that they have available with the snake bites and the nanos, like, you just can't retake that. You have to, defensively, I feel like you have to be able to fight your way into a man advantage before the retake even starts in order to have success on this B side of the map. And so if G2 can keep using their Harbor utility and keep using Oxy as an entry point, and they're able to keep finding these openings and spike plants on B, I just don't know how Mad Lions, they're going to have to make a key adjustment here defensively. A timeout needs to come soon. I need to figure out a way to either pick an early fight, try to be a little bit aggressive, try to slow this G2 B push down, because you can't rely on a retake, I don't think, on this site. Not with the composition G2 are playing, and not with how successful they are at taking space.
And I know that we kind of picked on, I say picked on, but we mentioned, right, Penny not really playing to form in fragging power, right? Previously a duelist player, kind of danced around. In the series against OR Esports had 12 spike plants. In the series against Moist had 17 spike plants, which is more than everybody, more than even the opposition's spike planter, right? So his job isn't really, and hasn't been, hey, we need to find all these frags. It's, hey, Penny, get into the site, use that util to get that spike planted, and we will do the job. We'll do the rest from there.
Yeah, he's definitely using his utility wall to get his teammates into good position. I mean, that's something that he has been able to do, and so that's certainly good news, as G2 certainly feinting this B play. They haven't committed to it just yet. They dropped a couple players back just to make sure they're not getting flanked. Maybe even set up a late mid lurk into B link. Aldrone going to come out here, spots Oxy, but is Blackheart going to be able to react quick enough? Oxy not able to follow up on it. B link, scout destroyed, so it's swarming back out into this B hit, but the clock's starting to run a little bit low. But Mad Lions just don't really have good intel.
Now, two players still hovering out towards the A site.
30 seconds left.
Blackheart erased once more here on this B site. Dior just around the corner, though, will deny the first. It's Oxy to go down. Another player just around the corner. Mad Lions, the rest of their vendors, nobody can really get in to try and stall. A dash on through. It's Narrate with the stinger. Shazam in the back lines. Dior will find another. The IGL down. Dapper. It's kill of their own, but much like we've seen previously, this post plant is a proficient one, a potent one with the nano swarm still on it. Snake bites, one available. These smokes, I mean, they're not going to do the trick, right? You have to go forward. You have to take the fight to these players, and they just can't do it. Penny lines them all up, knocks them all down. And you see the idea, right, from G2, like, expecting a flank to finally come to fruition, because that's the only way that you can beat it, and Mad Lions just haven't done that.
The only other way that you could beat it is by having man advantage before they get back to long B.
Right,
and Bjor almost pulled that off. Bjor did get 2 frags. It looked like he might be able to put them in maybe like a 4 versus 3 post plant or 3 versus 2 post plant. It doesn't happen, though. G2 are able to escape in an even 3-on-3 situation with long B control, with no flank threat. And Mad Lions are never going to win rounds that way. It's just too hard. And now this round they have little to work with weaponry-wise. And I know that people may be thinking that, like, I'm over-exaggerating or I'm calling it too early, but I'm just telling you, like, you can't retake this B site structured with limited resources.
Especially with no pressure at all, right? On that Viper, who's just, quite literally, Whippy's just been sitting back there lining up the snake bite. Never a threat from that position. Trick now to do some damage with the Sheriff. Good couple of kills. Only 2, though. Bulldog makes its way through the high tide. Did Narrate off the Blazer? He did. This is a round where Narrate look to get something cheeky done. Spot Shazam, 2 blades already gone. Is he expecting Dapper here just around the corner? Stinger here. Spray comes through. Dapper 3 on the round. A G2 now bring us within 1. Another rifle round for Mad Lions here, Dust. What changes?
They need to call timeout, first of all. First and foremost. Obviously, the op could be a tipping point.
Yes.
Like, if you can find an opening pick early on the long B press before they can start get rolling, that could really change the pace of the round and give them a chance. I think that that's a good call. So, yeah, operator from Narrate, that could be an X factor. If you can get positioned and defend long B a little bit, at least get a pick and roll back. Obviously, it turns into a little bit of a handicap when you're actually going for the retake. But even if you can just stay alive with it at least it gives them a way to fight back on long B with a ranged weapon. Yeah, people can still play the headshot angle like on the actual ramp itself, which still makes the op really hard to pull off, but it gives them at least something to work with long ranged if it comes down to a retake situation there again. So I think that's first and foremost what they need to do. And then secondly, and I mean, it's easier said than done, but you have to be able to like pick your fights on B early before it becomes a retake situation.
Yeah.
But that's just so hard to do if you don't have intel. And part of that could be that you find ways to press A. They've done that a couple of times with Ainge already, where he's been able to control long A solo, which gave them a little bit more breathing room to rotate B early. So I mean, that's kind of one way to go about it. Maybe some early like aggressive mid control is a way to like try to, you know, catch people watching for the flank and actually fight them before they can fall back. So there's a couple of different ways they can go about it. We'll see what they decide to do here. The op is certainly the first key.
High blocks the first angle, flash on the next. They get something, Shazam peeks out. That's the player down. Now, I know we said, right, finding an early pick, winning an early fight, but if flash is gone still means you have post-plant potential with your Viper, your Killjoy, and then obviously a way to get on with Penny. Another kill would be right here. Narrate holds the angle. Dapper looking to play the long con. We'll deal with that turret inside art. Back away, letting the paranoia set in.
Yeah, but again, look, they have been able to get Ainge set up at long A. So he's just basically... Oh, that's big, though. That's big from Dapper. That's a B-Link threat reckoning now on the side. But that's a great response from Narrate, but it's not enough. Not if he's going to get traded that quickly. Now it's a 3 versus 2. Blackheart, he fights back, though, as well. Ainge on the flank. No utility is watching this part of the flank.
Oh, the turret might see, though.
Oh, it does. Okay. I didn't think it was angled correctly, but you're right.
I didn't think so either. I could see it like through the wall a little bit, but I did not know that that turret
left.
would see the player here. He had some stars too. If he heard that turret, could maybe look to plop something down to allow himself on. I do like to play from Blackheart here, right? Just backing away from it, not looking to take 1v2. And as I say that, it walks back into the site, getting a little antsy, is eventually dealt with. Now,
they kind of took the fight to him, to be fair. I mean, he was trying to back off, and they just double pushed him, which was smart from G2. You know, try to force a 2 versus 1. And now this lockdown is essentially an insurance policy that they're going to be able to get back and play the post-plant Whippy's Snakebite.
I don't know if Whippy has
Concealment.
the Poison Cloud down, though. So, Snakebite, sure. The spam is going to be the next best tools. Here comes the Snakebite. Dapper going to play behind the turret. Find the kill. Doesn't matter. Man, G2 have looked good here on the attack. If you let them get the spike planted, like you said, that's it. That's the round.
Welcome to B Pearl. I mean, that's just the way it plays. I mean, certainly Mad Lions had a better start getting the opening picks with Narrate's operator, but they weren't able to follow up off of it. I mean, Narrate eventually gets traded. The flank gets shut down by the utility of Dapper. Great double push by G2 in the late round into B-Link to take Bior out and force a 2 versus 1. And I mean, they're stringing them together. Not one defensive round has come out from Mad Lions.
Oh. Yeah, that hurts.
Placing swarm grenade.
Dapper just sticks to it. Doesn't give up that angle out towards mid. Make sure nobody else is peeking through these doors. Oxy works his way forward, judge in hand, expecting somebody inside the smoke. Nobody home for now. Trick just on the other side, looking to match firepower with just the sheriff. Fragment comes through, will force Oxy back. Dapper find the kill on Blackheart, who was looking to play that lurk, and 3 that will remain for Mad Lions are here on the site. Judge into the side of Frick. Oxy now walks forward, right click goes wide, but the Judge will do the trick. No, it's Shazam to keep him up as Bior's going to try his hand at it, but this is
done.
Yeah.
Spike planted.
As well as Mad Lions have played the attack of this map, and as well as they have played Split, they have just not had an answer defensively against G2's B attack. And again, part of it is the map structure and just how it plays out for a lot of teams, to be honest. It's nothing unique, the challenge that Mad Lions are facing right now. They're going back to the operator, which is smart. They have a ton of ults. Like, this is do or die right now for Mad Lions. Like, if they can't convert this round with these many ults and with Narrate having the operator again, I hate to call it, but I think Mad 3 is probably, you know, not too far away. They have to find a response. They have not been able to come up with one yet.
And expecting the strength from B, G2 set their eyes elsewhere. B-site now under fire, Penny working towards the Reckoning, but it is just the orb pickup, and they leave Narrate.
Yeah, exactly. Narrate having this angle means that they can more freely defend B and A, and they have the ults to do it on top of that. So Mad Lions are actually in a pretty good, you know, situation positionally, and as well as their ults that are available to them. So right now, the way things stand, they have a good chance of tying this game up, but we know that Oxy can sometimes just brute force his way into victory.
Placing swarm grenade. Swarm grenade out.
Yeah, Oxy left as the deposit right now inside A main, so he's waiting to see if anybody looks to reclaim this space. Seekers go through, flash behind it. Oxy to take the first fight. It's Trick to fall. Mage now just on the other side. No way. Oxy does it again. Just opens things up on the A site, and this operator just not in the mix.
Yeah. I mean, the only good thing about it is that Mad Lions didn't really use any of their ults there. That's about the only positive you can pull from it. I mean, they got bulldozed, and it was just Oxy double entry on A site. So much disturbance was being created in art and into kind of that sewers area by the utility of G2 that Oxy kind of just had free reign to take some 1v1s on A site, and he's going to win those. He's going to win a lot of those. And now the op is not even saved.
Oh. Yeah, insult to injury there for Mad Lions. G2 have put together 8 rounds in a row. Completely unanswered. 4 ults go to 5 ults for Mad Lions. The buy, I think, is one where we're only expecting maybe the Blade Storm to be invested.
One enemy remaining.
This has been a brutal beat down on the attack from G2, and I was wondering if we would get it again. Yep, second time out here. Mad Lions, they're going to go back to the drawing board and try and figure out how to deal with this one. Just when they think they have the answer. The op, it worked earlier. They try to do it again. And the B site just becomes, or the A site, excuse me, this time around becomes a problem. And G2, you said Oxy, just bulldozes his way in.
What year is Whippy living in?
Yeah, you know, there was one point where his webcam, I think, was in black and white. I don't know if that's like a bad lighting thing or I don't know.
This might be the worst webcam in the history of technology that Whippy's using.
I will say
go
that
on.
Sometimes when you have too many things plugged into your computer, it could be a good webcam or a bad webcam. You just don't have enough. You don't have enough USB bandwidth, you know?
Dog, I don't know what to tell you. Like, there's just no way in 2023 that your webcam can be this bad. I'm now getting reports that it's a phone. How do you have a phone camera that bad in 2023 is another big question to really ask. I don't know if that really changes my opinion. There's no out to give here. This man, I'm sorry. I know that's completely unrelated to the game in any form or fashion, but it just makes me let chuckle every time I see it. It might be the worst one I've ever seen. Someone help Whippy out.
Toxins going up.
Is Whippy playing post plant with only snake bites? Now, I know there's a lot more behind it, but he's not even putting that poison cloud down inside or on that B site on top of the spike. That's been completely...
He's been using it for B link pressure.
Yeah.
Which is a cool way to use it.
Yeah, that puts a lot of pressure on the defense as to whether or not they're going to be pushing through link or deep in their spawn.
Exactly. And then you still have all the harbor utility you need to actually press yourself forward into a site, as well as a toxic screen. So I like it. Again, they've gone with this, you know, Ainge pushing deep long A situation, but now he's going to get tested by numbers. He's like, oh boy, I got to get out of here.
And not enough in the tank there. But just that stinger does good to make it out safely. Now G2 want to slam this A side. Smoke goes up, high tide behind it. The rotations are here. Narrate with the Blade Storm. Hunter Fury comes through. Ainge deals with the first. Unfortunately, he's going to be taken down. Too much damage from his teammate on the backstab. Good damage from that Hunter Fury. With 30 seconds on the clock, not a whole lot of time to rotate here from G2.
No, they have to commit to this. There's no doubt about it. But Sam finds the entry on the Trick. They are able to respond, though. Same with Blackheart. It's getting tricky.
Unfortunately,
10 seconds
Bjor
left.
thought that maybe there was a chance across the
Spike
map. He
planted.
still stands. Shots go wide. Blackheart
Last
left on an
player
island.
standing.
2 players going to try and run him down. And now Bjor will have to fight said 2 players. Reckoning will give away the positioning here of the Killjoy. Bjor dances around it. Picks up a rifle. 17 bullets left in the magazine. Penny on the backside. And G2 do it again.
Yeah, Bjor really just had to gamble in that
Match
situation to
point.
stack, I think. I think trying to play B solo in that situation, hoping for a fallback, was just, with the amount of time that was left on the clock, I think you have to just roll the dice and play out your teammate here. Especially when you lose Ainge to that TK, and the numbers are dwindling, Narrate spotting all this pressure. I just think there need to be a faster rotation from Bjor. Either way, G2 continue to dominate here. They have yet to let up on the attacking side. 3 map points now to force a third. Mad Lions do have a couple of ults in play, and the op is back for Narrate. He's going to try to get aggressive bid with it this time.
That he is. Wants to try and punish Dapper for all this aggression he's been put in here. And unfortunately cannot do so. Nanoswarm dealt with, so that's one bit of retake util, or post-plant util, I should say, gone. For G2, they obviously have plenty more. Bjor, sole defender here, lockdown in hand. You know Oxy's running this one down. Yeah, you absolutely know Oxy is running this one down, but he gets punished for it. Now the defense has to try and back away. No, pushing forward instead. It's Trick to find a kill out towards mid. Dapper finally stopped in all the madness that he'd been putting on this mid part of the site. G2 are still going to try and go for it here.
Indeed they are. Using the Cascade to kind of pave the way forward. Narrate, though, playing a bit of a crossfire with his teammates between the back halls and the B-Link area. Spike will go down. Whippy gets taken down.
One enemy
Penny
remaining.
able to respond, but it's quickly traded back, and now it's on Shazam. 1v3's found one.
Found one.
Terrifying here. Trick out towards long. He found a headshot there. Shazam might be able to do this. A tap on the spike for Bjor, and he'll eventually say no way. Stops it, shuts it down. The vision was there. I think we all could feel it in the air.
noise that we heard. You're thinking,
Yeah.
oh snap, Shazam's cooking. But
Being heard around the world.
yeah, Mad Lions finally get a defensive round here, and they do get the op still in play. Was saved. But they need 2 more to force an overtime.
And spirits did not seem high after that round when you saw, I think it was Narrate saying, hey, op down, make sure we grab that one again. And that they do. 1 ult to play with an Ainge. We'll see how this Cosmic Divide gets utilized. As Narrate looking to take this early positioning here. Flash around the corner. He's going to still try and take the fight on the other side of the pillar. He didn't spot Oxy. Now can he get out? Spike down. No, he can't. Oxy too far forward. Finds that trade kill and wants some more.
Night, night.
Oxy just continues to wreak havoc on the server. Another double entry. This time it's early at B. I like what Narrate was trying to do, but he had no way to fall back. And now it's a 4 versus 3 favoring G2 coming into the site. Oxy leads the way with the Blade Storm. That's going to be a headshot to Blackheart.
One enemy remaining.
Bjor though fighting back. Ainge fighting back, and Mad Lions find a way.
Indeed, they do. Back-to-back rounds right when they need them most. Right when G2 are about to cross that finishing tape into the arms of a 3rd round.
One enemy remaining.
Or Mad, I should say. Mad Lions come together huge to put overtime on the table.
Placing swarm grenade.
It's there. It's possible.
It's there. It's possible. It's going to take some more heroics here. Good. 0 point. This will reveal quite a bit. Bjor going to go aggressive. Bjor's feeling himself here. Unfortunately, he shouldn't be. Oxy a bit better on the trigger, but Trick there for the trade.
Yeah, that's a big trade from Trick.
Toxins going
That
out.
changes everything. Oxy has ultimately been able to get
Scout
2
destroyed.
in a lot of these rounds off the jump. This time he's only down to 1, and he's traded. And it's an A-split play from G2, and it's getting played into a lot of utility. A lot of utility here. Unfortunately, Bjor's not around to activate
Poison,
a lot of
not
it.
enough fuel.
But at least they have some Astra Stars, and they got the Sova. Blackheart playing a crazy angle. Almost finds 2 there. Dinks Whippy, I believe.
Oh, and Trick just missed the timing there. Has the fragment, though, so depending on where this plant goes, can look to deny. Cove comes out, Fragment in hand, he's going to right-click that one forward. Penny should be able to get this spike down, but does he make it out? Yes, he does. The Cove will keep him alive. Ooh. Flashes. Trick still alive. Dash over the special. Shazam will finally close out that kill. The judge comes through for 2. And overtime is a possibility here. 2 players to worry about. A Cosmic Divide. The push through from long range. Narrate finds a 3rd. Judge, jury, executioner. But most importantly, will push us into that OT here on Pearl.
Man, what can you say about Mad Lions?
Switching
They went
sides.
dormant for the entirety of the second half, up until the
player
last
standing.
3 rounds they needed to linger around, to force an overtime, to still have hopes of a 2-0, to yet deal G2 another blow this split, as they have struggled to get going since the mid-season face-off success. Oh my goodness.
And at what point, because we have so much of this, I feel like in Valorant, where a team will finally start to get your number and you start second guessing all the things that you've been doing right? The last couple of rounds, the next time that we see G2 on the attack, do they try something different because they feel that Mad Lions have a read on it? Now, we do have 1 round before we get there, but I mean, the head game's just as much as the pew-pew here on Pearl.
Early pressure here from the Owl drone of Blackheart onto Long B is going to keep Oxy interested, who goes for the glass cannon operator in OT, but gets rinsed. Oh my goodness, Blackheart. Oh boy, that is a wallop of a punch, bro.
Yeah, that does not feel good. Completely starched. Just as he could even see Blackheart, Oxy gets deleted, and he's going to be hanging out. He's been good on the attacking side, this time on the defense. He won't even get a chance to narrate.
Look at his fake.
Dances all the way through. It's buying the rotations already, and like you said, yeah, the fake, the only player close to this one is Shazam.
Oh my. I think G2 knows now, just based on the fact that they settled. They know that the Jet has gotten into a dangerous position over here at A. But now it's the double fake. Blackheart will continue the pressure here towards back halls, but Narrate is kind of the linchpin holding this link area from Art's side. And Blackheart with that frag is going to keep the fake up even more as his spike makes its way to A. G2 don't know where to go.
This timing, though, could be awkward. Penny, opt out. I mean, it's so hard to not jump up into that window, but Penny doesn't do it. Narrate will eventually get punished. Penny going to find his way into another frag for G2 as Dapper flops down his turret. That now gone. That bit of utility not available. Low HP. Dapper pushing up. Angel deal with him. It's all up to Harbor here, and Angel's not having any of it. Mad Lions now. G2 were impressive on their attack, but when we see it again from Mad Lions, they just completely dismantle the defense of G2.
Oh boy, that was decisive, and a lot of it was just Blackheart. Big opening pick onto Oxy, big onto Shazam here, and then he finds the 3rd, I think, on a flank watch. And it sets up the rest of the post plant here for Mad Lions. And now, all of a sudden, again, after being so quiet for so long, we might be hearing them roar now. They are at 13-12. They can win this defensive round. They would win 2-0. Early intel at that 0 point. Narrate in this corner.
G2 expecting this, right? This play has been an operator multiple times here. Fortunately for Narrate this time, he doesn't get anything, but he is able to escape with his life.
Burns a little bit of extra utility as well. That's one snake bite used that would normally be there for post plant to clear out that corner. So that could or could not make a big difference. It really depends on how these interactions go on site itself. Owl Jones going to come out, spots one at ramp. Mad Lions aggressive middle.
They smoked the turret.
They did. This sets up the flank for the first time ever this game. They've never really had one before.
They're running out of time,
3.
They got to get going. We'll see if Bjork can just scoop by. Yeah, that smoke just dissipated. Now here on the side, it's only Blackheart Ainge. Gonna be backing him up. G2 want to go back and fight this one here. Whippy first up. Trick the first to fall. Whippy grabs 2 before finally going down. Bjork only good for 1. Now it's all up to Blackheart and Ainge. Revealed by the alarm bot Oxy still in the back lines. This guy not needed off the site to play the post plan. He's going to stay here and try and fight as Ainge goes inside the astral form. He'll be dealt with, and G2 send us into another OT.
A Again, I like the change-up for Mad Lions, just as far as
Switching
game
sides.
planning goes. They did
Overtime.
not get the trades they needed on that flank. They only got, what, 1 frag from that, I think? And so G2 ultimately out-battled them there, still maintained the long control. They have Oxy back calls the whole time as well, and so it is going to square it back up.
Placing alarm bot.
And so we're once again all even. Another round of OT required to decide things here on Pearl.
Walls up.
Slow approach here. Spike still down inside the spawn for Mad Lions. Expecting some sort of aggression here from G2's defense, but given nothing for now.
They've been a little bit more tempered here, though Oxy is certainly still poking at middle. He does have some support from Shazam. How far does he want to take it, though, is really the next question. Locks the turret.
Take flight.
Tanks it. It's going to certainly maybe cause Mad Lion to be a little bit more cautious now that that turret's been taken out to watch the flank. All this Killjoy utility as well on the front lines here of the site, but Shock Dart will break one piece of it.
Even spamming the ground, trying to find the rest here. Move it popped. Snakebite also comes down. 4 defenders for
30
G2
seconds
are
left.
here on this angle. They'll back away momentarily. Nanoswarm keeps him off the angle. Trick now going to look to go aggressive. Running and gunning, though. Oxy gets one. The shorty comes out for another. As Shazam looks to clear his way through. The Spike is making its way out towards this safe site, but 3 players only here for Mad Lions.
Yeah, they lost too much, I feel like, there. Yeah, they're going to get the spike down, but unless Ainge can find the most beautiful timing ever. And no, Whippy catches him. That should be it.
This is a very tall ask here. Bjor to grab the
standing.
first. Another one just around the corner, but eventually dealt with. Was Black Card. Now it's all up to Bjor. A 1v2. First Nano Swarm popped. High Tide goes out. Both players just on the other side. Cove comes down. Off comes the Harbor. And there was a moment where you thought maybe the kill will come through. But not the case as G2 finally get it done on defense.
You don't deserve my inventions.
Yeah, I think Trick just tried to take it a little bit too far with that pop flash into B Link. He was really trying
Switching
to sell the fake. I
Match
cannot
point.
understand it from that perspective, but they just lost too many members along the way. Even if they pulled it off, you know, G2 has so much retake power with the numbers on a much easier site to retake than B at that. And so Mad Lions will call a timeout once more. Their second and final timeout of the map. Try to see if they can find a way defensively to keep this thing going. Of course, the defense is what haunted them until they put 3 in a row together to force that first overtime. A beautiful defensive round kind of kept it going, but now they need even more. Do they go glass cannon with Narrate? Or do they try something else? I mean, I feel like they've been at their best when they've been able to be aggressive at B and slow G2 down rather than, you know, letting G2 take the space and having to try to just battle on side or play for retake.
And what does it look like this time around for Mad Lions? It was a couple of shaky A-site hits from G2 that eventually pushed Mad Lions over the edge. They inch out, I think, 1 B-site victory. And now they will go back to that glass cannon operator. So up in the hands of Narrate. He's going to be set up here in this B-site. Trick 0 point in hand to try and get this early information. And do G2 expect this when Flash comes out? We'll get him off the angle for just a second. Cascade is there. Dapper, how much does he give up here? Only needs to spot the head, but look at the aggression from Oxy. Shot does not land. Dapper sits him down. Trick to try and get it back, but Dapper just too good here in this next round.
Yeah, and this could be the beginning of the end here for this map. It could be a map 3 now, right around the corner. G2 can finish things off. Sam certainly putting it in that direction, but
Spike
Bjor
down,
trying
B.
to fight back. Ainge still needs to make his
One
rotation.
enemy remaining.
Bjor overwhelmed, and that should be it unless Ainge can come up big with the clutch.
Spike planted. You should run.
Dapper on the plant. Lockdown. Backhauls here. He's going to try and take some fights aggressively. He's already been spotted. I believe Dapper on the jump peak. Flash comes through. First one there is Whippy, and G2 eventually get it done from 9-3 to a 15-13 closeout for G2, and they push us to a map 3.
Yeah, I mean, I thought the map 3 would maybe come a little bit faster considering how the second half is going for G2 on the attack. I mean, their B attacks were just so oppressive. No real chance for retaking from Mad Lions throughout the bulk of the half, but finally they string a final 3 together to put it into extra rounds and try to keep 2-0 Dream alive, try to deal G2 yet another blow this split, but G2 respond, and they will see a third map due to these efforts. Lots to pick apart there, but man, just I think a lot of it is just all about the G2B play. That's what was the separator.
Yeah, that I think is going to be definitely the big takeaway going back and watching this VOD, right? Is trying to figure out how, if we can't do it with this comp, what comp can we do it with? Because that was proving to be the biggest of issues for Mad Lions, and we'll see if maybe issues moving forward now that some other teams are going to take a look at this one and see what G2 brings to the table. And Oxy, however, on top of all the post-plant stuff, Oxy almost dropped 40. That also feels pretty darn good when your duelist is able to just get things started for your team and then allow you to set up in that post that they had.
Yeah, I mean, outside of just how good their B plays were on the attacking side, the other big thing is up until the final rounds of the half, Oxy was getting like 2 kills almost every single time.
Yeah.
You know, they were never really able to trade him 1-for-1 until the very end. And that was the difference maker that got them into overtime. But once we got to overtime, it kind of got back to the norms of what we saw in regulation, where G2 were just able to kind of outclass them a little bit, particularly on their attacking half. Again, B so hard to retake, we know it. And it came up a lot for Mad Lions, and G2 able to cash in on it. So that's it, man. Map 3, it's coming.
Yeah, map 3 just around the corner, and I'm glad that we get it because it's Bind again. Yay! Everybody's so excited for the teleporters, but most importantly, both of these teams are winless thus far in their groups, and this will be the final map to decide who finally puts a tally in that win column. It's G2 Esports, it's Mad Lions, it's map 3 right after this.